Well, today then, I've been thinking that I'll try and do a video that's less confusing. So in other words, I'm not going to include all of the bits that happen in between the things that are happening, if that makes any sense, which it does to me. But that means that so far I've not done any videoing of any of the stuff I've done, including doing some parceling, taking a parcel to the shop, getting frustrated by the QR code going missing, then moving on to the sale of Benny Jazz Mags, of which I'm about to wash. But I've already put it up for sale because I still have the pictures from before. And then this Renault really does need to go up for sale. And in between all the other things I'm going to do today, I need to do a no nonsense sales pitch for this lovely car. And it is lovely. You know it is. So now with Benny Jazz Mags, time to do a video. Time to vacuum. I'm going to tell you something. These Project Drive cars, you're much more likely to do yourself an injury cleaning the Project Drive car. These carpets are rubbish. I hate these carpets. And then of course, to compound the problem further, the seats have that kind of foam that disintegrates and leaves the entire floor looking like someone's been eating biscuits, and then you crack your fingers on the metal bits in the seat. Right, it's time to get back to the regular arse about face video. On occasion, this car likes to run on 3 cylinders, and rather than thinking the worst, I'm going to just try a couple of things to see what happens. Well, I was kind of expecting to maybe find an air leak or something like that, maybe on the inlet manifold, so the brake cleaner would find its way in and suddenly the revs would rise, and then you know what the answer is. But that wasn't to be the case. It's now time to utilise the cable tie because my hair is a mop and it's getting in the way. Now there's one place at work I don't go to very often. I have my dungeon and I go deep down into the dungeon, but around the other side I have this space as well. I know I've shown it once before, but it's a rather spooky looking place where I have dashboards. Rover 45, early 25, 800, 75 will probably never ever get used. And then some units from a Renault. A few other various bits here and there. Oh, and there's another Rover 800 dashboard behind there. But my reason for venturing down there has been fruitless. One of the things I need to help out lovely Rhiannon here is an expansion bottle, because this one's just starting to crack there. You'd think expansion bottles would be one of those things that I'd have loads of because they don't wear out very often, but on the Rover 45 they are a little bit of a problem, and so I don't think I have one. Certainly don't down there, and I haven't in there, so maybe I've got one in one of these boxes here. Well, it's a bit difficult to even get to really with all of this stuff taking over. Turn your back and it's grown out another foot. It's going to have to come down. I'm going to have to just dedicate some time to getting rid of all this. Like today. I am, a fan of nature, but this is too much. And so's this. I think the time has come. I'm simply going to have to spend the rest of the day doing this instead. No, I really don't want to though. But honestly, it's stuff like this which is why you see me going from one end of the yard to do one thing turning back round, having not done it, and going back to do something else, and then not doing that as well. You don't really want to watch this, so I'll be back in an hour. Oh, this is a horrible job, and because there's so many stinging nettles there as well. I've got stinging nettles all up my arms, all up my legs as well. Stinging nettles, brambles, and then trees. I only went down there to look for an expansion bottle for this, and now I'm covered in rashes everywhere. Well, that's quite a bit of that tree gone down now at least, and starting to develop a bit of a walkway down here. All this wasn't accessible before. That's quite impressive. I'm sure down here we got about that far as well, and around the back of the car. Obviously this has happened with this car like that there because of it being stood still, nothing moving. It has definitely taken over, but more than that, if we look over here, this car only went back so far because just under there there's a load of wings. Yeah, there's about 20 wings there, and I originally used the edge of this slope here to put some old wheels on and then rest bumpers over the top of that. But of course the brambles have taken over here as well, so this is just as big a job, well, probably a bigger job than that bit there. The reason this car was sat here was because I didn't really know what I was going to be doing with it next. Didn't seem to be able to fix it, but I feel sorry for it now. I really do. Poor old thing, just there like that. Oh, and just to the side there were a lot more boxes of things. You never know, there might be an expansion bottle in there. And my arm's stinging really badly. I'm going to have to go for another cup of tea, I think. This arm is properly tingling away from those stinging nettles. And what's the solution? Dock leaves? That's what I used to believe. Don't think there are any around here. Maybe some water. Time to test out the jacking point. Car's jacked up, ready for the wheel to come off, but that top wishbone bush I've got, I was hoping was going to be the same one. It isn't, so I've got to go and retrieve a second-hand one. These are the bushes I'm talking about. Those there, those are what are missing from Rhiannon. So, will they come off? Looking at this, that looks like quite a straightforward job after all. As long as the rest of it comes apart easily enough. It's just 4 bolts to undo the top, drop it down, undo the other 2, stick it in and do it all back up again. Hopefully that's how it will work. It's coming apart, but will I be able to get the replacement part in place? It's a bit tricky there. There, I see. Oh gosh. Oh gosh indeed. Gosh, well, look at those. No wonder it was clonking. Come on, get off, get off, get off. That is something else. Mind you, these could do the same at some point. Those are what you call warm bushes. Now I've just got to put it all back together again. Hopefully that will be easier. they don't go back together quite as easily as I was expecting. And that's where having an experienced mechanic knocking them out sometimes does come in handy. Isn't that so, Carl?
Sometimes, Paul, yes.
I didn't even ask him. He just came over and said, "Oh, let's have a go at that. Let's have a go at that." He said. So I said, "Go on, fill your boots." Having quite a late one tonight, but that suits me. Oh gosh, I'll move all this lot tomorrow, I think. Ah, cat. Meow. Come here, pussycat. Come and be my friend. So, what am I going to go home in tonight? It's not going to be Nigel or Benny Jazzmax or Alfie. Ooh. So, although I have driven this car before, I drove it back from somewhere near Huddersfield. The video I made you couldn't see because there was no sound, and I was rather distracted by that noise going on, if I'm absolutely honest. So now here's the opportunity. What do I think of this car? This car called Rhiannon. Now that top wishbone is sorted out and it's no longer clonking, because it was clonking exceedingly bad before, I can actually use this as a car while I sort the other minor things out of it before it goes up for sale. And it drives quite well. But I will say that with these 17-inch wheels, you can feel the difference. They do feel a bit too big, and it doesn't drive quite as nicely as what Alfie does because of it. I don't know why, but the steering feels much lighter on this car than what it does on mine. You know what I think though, as I walk towards this car just then, from the front, obviously it doesn't look too different to Alfie, but when you see the back end being a bit short like that, the saloon certainly has a better profile. That's what I reckon. In my opinion, the saloon car is a better looking car. Anyway, never mind all that stuff. What about my armour? That's about 8 hours now. 8 hours of my arm stinging all the way up. And I've washed it, and I've washed it again, and it's still the same. Any solutions? Hopefully by the time you see this it will have gone away. But just in case it hasn't.